Hello, what's up guys? I'm Kyle from KGR, and this is the Sonic Movie 3 Shadow Plus Motorcycle playset, I guess? Typically playsets are reserved for the 2.5-inch figures, but obviously you can't make that fit on a motorcycle, so they said, screw it! We're gonna put it with the 5-inch figure. So now there's gonna be 4 different versions of Shadow in this 5-inch line, which is pretty cool. However, this product is a little bit controversial in the Sonic toy community. It's weird to say that, that's a real phrase. But a lot of people don't like the way the bike looks, they don't like how Shadow fits on the bike and all that stuff. Which is why we're going to compare it to this bike that I got on Amazon later. I got this idea from Tito the OG, and he got it from some other guy that I can't remember off the top of my head. So let's see which one's better. This, that's 20 bucks, or this paired with the normal Shadow that probably is going to cost like 35 to 40 bucks. We'll see. So you get like not even a window, like it is an open window. You can touch this guy. You can be all like, let me boop your nose. But yeah, with this Shadow, you don't have those eye effects. That's like the realistic eyes, and it's gonna be probably the only figure in the line outside of Eggman that's gonna have the lack of that effect. So it might stand out in the collection if you get this one. But there's also a couple other downsides to this figure, which I'll get into later. But on the side, oh, we get a nice UPC. Okay, cool. If you're looking for it, here's that. But I bought this guy directly on the Walmart website, so link will be down below on where you can pick this guy up. But then on the back of it, it shows Shadow, the bike, as well as just showcasing the Wave 1 of the 5-inch figures. But now we're getting Wave 2, and I'm surprised how much that leaked, actually. It's a little insane. The Shadow figures have, what, 22 points of articulation? I don't remember. There's a box over there, but I'm too lazy to grab it. But this guy only has 13 points of articulation, which again, for an action figure, that's fine. It's not as good as the other ones. So let's open this up and actually play with him for a little bit. So yeah, like people don't like this figure because of like the lack of articulation in comparison to the regular 5-inch figure, which the regular 5-inch figure feels kind of revolutionary because of the fact that like it's the most posable figure of its kind. And we're just gonna slide this out. Okay, cool. But yeah, the 5-inch movie figures are so good because of how posable they are. So seeing figures without that articulation feels like a downgrade in comparison, but we've dealt with not having that kind of articulation already for so long. I think it's fine. Would I prefer they still had that articulation? Absolutely. But I feel if they still had that articulation, as well as included this bike, this playset would have jumped from 20 to 30 bucks, which is not what we would want at all, especially since the bike doesn't show all the cool decals that the movie does. So let's get all this stuff off of it, and let's check out Shadow. And here is Shadow with the bike. I guess there's a peg hole right here, so you can like properly lock him in, which honestly, nice touch. I'm happy they did that. And then you can tuck this in there, and there's Shadow on the bike. Honestly, him looking in this position so he doesn't have the 3D eye movement, so you can actually stay looking forward. Yes! This thing's so cool! And it steers? Oh, okay. Okay, I think people are just hating on this too much. Does the kickstand not work? Oh, no, it does. It does, thank goodness. It's just a little stiff. But there is a thing on the side, like, to stop, like, how much movement you get. But it doesn't help that this desk is not very even. So is it really functional? I can't really tell. I'm sorry. Is there any instructions with this? No. No, you're on your own. There's no motor inside this, clearly. But I mean, like, it's not like a rev up thing and then let it go. It's literally just have fun. Play with him. Which makes sense for the $20 price point. Do I think this thing as ugly as people are making it out to be? No, not really. I think this thing is actually really cool, and I think I broke it. No, I didn't break it. This thing just pops back into place and then pegs back in. That said, if you're buying this thing loose, that is going to be a thing that's probably going to go missing. I think this looks cool. I like this thing. Am I happy I bought it? Absolutely. But let's take Shadow off of this. Oh, he's still tied to this thing. Oh, goodness. Okay, now that he's free. Okay, now let's take this shadow off and compare him to the standard 5-inch figure. Oh! He's got double ball pegs. And you can already see stress marks in there. I'm not sure how we can actually see that. So, be careful with this guy. So yeah, they gave him double ball pegs around his hips so he can move around this bike, because the regular shadow figure does not have that. I guess he technically does, but definitely not the same range as this guy. But he got that thigh gap, my guy. Look at that. When you're looking at him straight on, they have the same expression on their face. But when you move them to the side, you can see like why having a painted eye does benefit. But also, this kind of benefits too. I just wish the eye was fully painted. And you can see the arms are painted differently too. So like, you can see how this lines up, but that doesn't. And that's molded that way too. So you can see how he doesn't have that butterfly joint compared to how this guy does. But again, the fact that that joint's already stressed has me scared of this thing snapping on me. So I'm probably gonna not touch this one too much. This is gonna be one that's probably just gonna stay on the bike and like never leave. And he doesn't even have the ankle movement either. You can't move his ankles at all. Like you see, like with this, you can like move it up and down, then you can rock it side to side. Yeah, he has none of that here. You can't move his wrists, not wrists. You can't move his, actually, I guess, can you move his wrists? Oh, I guess you can, but like they changed it so like the joint is under the cuff, which, good call. Good call. While this, the wrist is like after the ring. Interesting. Interesting choices being made here. And the shoes kind of have the same detail, but like, I feel this one is like more like drawn out, more detailed compared to what these shoes are. These like feel cheaply made in comparison. I like the way the bottoms look. They're a little bit more vibrant. Is this going to be your definitive action figure for Shadow? No, no. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It's still a fine figure, but it is definitely one that I'd want to stick with the bike because of like how his thigh gap is and stuff. And this would still definitely be like the definitive figure, which it still is. Like, I don't see them making a better Shadow figure than this, to be quite honest. Even despite him going for more of the movie look rather than, you know, the game look, I still love the way this Shadow looks. Like, he still looks so good. But now we have a Shadow figure that lights up, that has no real neck movement. You can't really move it up and down on a ball. Like this one can. This one's still on a ball, so that one's fine. But at least this one still has ankle movement. So I guess out of all three of them so far, this is the worst one. But people, I feel like, want to buy this specifically for the head, because it doesn't have that 3D effect. But it's going to just stand out in the collection then, so I'm not sure if that's really a good idea or not. But let's take a closer look at the bike. The way they package it, they have the screw holes showing. I feel like that's not a good call. Either reverse it so, like, you see this on the side, or reverse the engineering so, like, it still stay this side but have the screw holes on the other side, which that would cost too much money. Screw that. It just doesn't look good in the packaging, just showing these off immediately. Like, on this side, it looks great. And then, like, you can see, like, what's supposed to be a speedometer down there, but there's, like, no sticker in there, so that's okay. But I guess the only way to really compare this to what the bike should actually look like is by pulling out the poster that you get from the, from Transformers 1. So judging it from this angle, you're missing this nice stripe right here. You're missing this stripe right here. You're missing the gun logo. This is a completely different bike. To be honest, I don't know if Shadow's going to have multiple bikes in this movie. For all we know, we could see this one as well as this one. We don't know. But if you're going to want a Shadow action figure with a bike, I think you're going to want to go for the one that's closer to the marketing. Whether, like, so it has the gun logo. So it has all these cool red stripes to go well with his accent. Like, I like orange. Orange is one of my top favorite colors, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't complement Shadow all that much. If these are red, then cool. But then people are just going to be angry that it's not the same bike. And again, this is like with little to no context. Like, the only clips that we saw from the movie, I assume only have this bike. I didn't zoom in to see details or anything. I'm not that crazy. But I am crazy enough to buy a completely different bike just because it looks cooler. Which, speaking of, let's open that. So, this guy was on Amazon for like a little over 20 bucks. And judging by all of this, I don't know. Is this something that you would see at like a flea market? for stupid cheap. I can't tell if that's Chinese or Japanese. We'll open this up, and you get the figure itself. Well, I can't really say figure. It's more a model, whatever. Is this? Can this come off? Oh, okay, cool. So I guess you could actually, like, pose this doing a wheelie. Not entirely. It's just so it doesn't move. Which, I mean, I guess is good, so you can make it look like he's actually riding it. Okay, let's throw this away. So if I saw Tito's video, right, I think if you press it down, it does something. I have no idea. Oh! You gotta pull that tab. There we go. Well, this is a cooler bike. Can I turn this off? I think pulling that tab was a bad idea. Now if we compare these two, then you're seeing a little bit more details. You see this on the front. You see this kind of on the back, I guess. I don't know. That. Close enough. Yeah, this looks a lot cooler. I like this one more. And you have a kickstand. You can stand up. Now that Shadow's not on it, can you stand up? No, not entirely. Unless you, like, heat this thing up and warm it and bend it. Like, there you go. Now that I bent it. But it's probably going to go back in place and then just fall over. Now, let's get our standard Shadow right here. And try to put him on the bike. Because, like, since he doesn't have that excellent crotch movement like the other one does, it's going to look a little bit weird. I'm starting to regret not taking out the batteries on this guy. Well, I'm not a fan of this thing anymore. I mean, he does look cool on it, so at least that's good. But, like, he can't really, like, ride the thing all that well. Like, he has a hard time, like, wrapping himself around it. He has to, like, sit on the gas tank. He can't even put his butt there. But does the other Shadow, does Biker Shadow actually fit on this guy? I'm scared to find out because, again, that thing's trying to fall apart. Does it have the locking joints? Oh, no. So, the regular 5-inch figures, the joints don't lock, okay? These ones do. I don't know why they do that. God, no! He definitely does a good job of, like, hugging the thing and look like he's actually speeding on it. Yeah, I feel like doing an all-new sculpt for Shadow, specifically made for riding a bike, is a good call. Look how, like, extended that is. Oh my goodness. Like, compare their butts. And then when you, like, pair this with the little stand, well, it didn't break off, so you can put it with the stand and actually make it look really good, like him riding it. So at least there's that. Yeah, this one's definitely made for riding. This one's definitely, like, a better figure if you want to actually, like, display him riding a bike. But when it comes to, like, actually being a shelf piece, like, having him just stand there, I wish this would have came with a little stand to actually keep him up. Yeah, I feel like if you're going to display it, this bike is definitely worth grabbing for that. I'll have an affiliate link down below, so if you want to grab that guy yourself as well, you can get it. But yeah, this Shadow is meant for riding, and that's what he's going to do. And that's all he should do. Or he could do the crazy frog and just, like, just ride on air. So at the end of the day, if you're going to get a Shadow action figure for the movie, I'd say try to go for the 5-inch one, the standard one that's hard to find and was going for stupid money on eBay. But they're coming out with another one where he's going to have an even angrier face and hopefully a better eye paint job too, so we'll see. But do I regret picking this up? No, not really. I think this is still fine. I think this is still a fine toy. It's not meant for adults. It's meant for kids. And for a kid's toy, it does a good job. It's fine. But for the adults that do want something a little bit more, I don't know, I don't want to say accurate, but closer to the movie and not as cheap looking, then I say, yeah, do buy this set so you do get this Shadow, and then put him on this bike. Not only does it stand up, it looks closer to the movie and just looks good in general. But for the love of God, don't remove that tab. Or if you do, take out the batteries. The lights are cool, don't get me wrong. But these noises are awful. If I can take this apart and find the wire that, like, gets rid of the speaker, I'll do that. Please. him by himself, no, like it's not that great of a figure. But the toy is not that bad. And no, Jakks didn't send me this. Jakks didn't pay me for this. No, I bought this guy my own money. But I like the fact that he pegs in. I like the fact that he actually fits on this bike. Like, on paper, he looks a little too big for it, but it looks better in person, honestly. So that's all I gotta say for this figure. So, if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. In the description, there's my social media, as well as places to buy all the stuff I've shown off here. But thank you for watching. I love you guys to death. And I'll see you all in the next one. So, peace, peace.